Few game franchises can legitimately stand up and call themselves a household name. Despite gaming as a hobby becoming a much more mainstream form of entertainment, it is still synonymous with basement-dwelling neck-bearded nerds who refuse to grow up. And while the games we play are wide-ranging in their genres and niche communities, there are a few games that take the title of some of the most widely recognized names in the industry. Icons of popular culture that even those who have never picked up a controller cannot escape. Call of Duty, Super Mario Bros., and of course, Grand Theft Auto. The GTA franchise as it exists today would be unrecognizable to the players who first picked up a copy of Grand Theft Auto 1, first released on PC before being ported onto the PlayStation. Yes, the very first PlayStation ever. Just in case you were wondering how long ago this actually was. 2 years later, it was released on arguably the first successful handheld gaming device to hit household name status before being lost to history, the Game Boy Color. Imagine a time when having a game console capable of showing a full range of colors was a selling point. This is how far back we're going. Back then, GTA was a much simpler experience. More like an arcade game than the in-depth, criminal enterprising GTA games of today. Missions were generated through using a payphone, and the player could rack up cash by doing them or simply by running around stealing cars and spinning in circles while firing a machine gun, causing untold carnage. All from a pixelated top-down view of the main character. Nowadays, GTA is a much grander and more immersive experience, with a plethora of activities to do in the game. Realistic physics engines to simulate the carnage of shooting, crashing, and exploding. Well-crafted story arcs to follow the main character's journeys as you play in even multiplayer modes. GTA now has its own dedicated online mode that was released after the initial release of GTA 5 to all those who bought a copy of the game. Rockstar has continually cited the longevity of GTA 5 being attributed to their ever-evolving online mode. Practically its own live service game, it continues to draw players old and new as more content is released. Long after Red Dead Online was abandoned, GTA Online is still going strong even now, in spite of the fact that Red Dead is the newer game by about 5 years. GTA Online is the gift that keeps one giving. The cash cow that is GTA Online has been continuously milked by Rockstar since its inception. It has been marketed to gamers hard. So much so that Rockstar even markets it to their own fans and players within the online mode itself. Multiplayer games having seasons is nothing new. GTA Online had its fair share of seasonal content, released for limited time so that players that wanted it could pay a little bit extra for access, but Rockstar also took a step further in their very own Rockstar way. Unique clothing items that could be purchased with in-game money that left clues and hints to new content were a fun little gimmick for players to scratch their heads over. While this ended up causing a lot of misplaced hype at the prospect of a GTA 6 reveal, the method itself was worth the merit. A coded message on a t-shirt spelt out, "One day Rockstar will reveal all," once the enigma had been decoded. Other shirts like "Rockstar says relax" were also available. The in-game money in GTA was also purchasable with real money, which was another big source of income for Rockstar, proving them right by keeping a game alive and profitable long after its release date. Players could use the in-game cash to buy anything they wanted, from cosmetics, apartments, an office, nightclubs, submarines, cars, weapons, and they could even do this. The ability to obliterate your enemies or random players for no reason was more than enough to get people to fork over real-life currency for in-game clout. Like the huge orbital lasers that sent hate from above, it seems like Rockstar can just market money out of thin air. In fact, it's kind of what they've been doing from the very beginning, before they were even known as Rockstar. Yep, even GTA predates their developer's name. It all began with a guy called Max Clifford and his genius, magical marketing strategy. It's the same one that Rockstar uses to this day. The very same one that got you to play the game and keeps you coming back for more. You see, nowadays, video games being a slippery slope to violence in children seems to be such a tired old boomer trope that you probably rolled your eyes instinctively the second you heard the sentence. 25 years ago, however, it was quite a different story. Yep, even when games looked like this. The moral, panicking Puritan prudes of Planned Parenthood were adamant that this kind of wanton violence would turn the impressionable kids into bloodthirsty killers. Max Clifford understood that one of the most effective ways to tap into an audience of mainly younger people was not by trying to appeal to them, but to stoke the boomer rage of their out-of-touch parents. Max billed the game as, quote, the most violent video game ever. This led to a media shitstorm. Outlets raged about the violence of video games and how dangerous they could be. Public outcry was so intense that governments even got involved, debating whether they would have to regulate the fledgling game industry so that their content could be deemed appropriate. It is worth mentioning that although the medium of video gaming was still pretty new in 1997, governments made primarily of old white men had made absolute fools of themselves before this by debating whether or not to regulate tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons as a result of the satanic panic. Another rather silly episode of history where parents panicked about what their kids were doing for harmless fun. Max's strategy had worked like a charm. All over the place, people who really should have known better were in an uproar about a game that wasn't out yet. All the while, their impressionable children were watching and waiting. After all, if the government was going to ban it, it must be an incredibly cool game. Players all over the world couldn't wait to see what all the fuss was about. When it was finally released, it was a complete sellout. Grand Theft Auto was born into the world with an eager, dedicated fan base, ready to lap it up, and it does so to this day. Max Clifford had pulled off a masterclass in free-earned media. Instead of DMA Design, the original name of Rockstar, having to pay through the nose to promote their own game, they just got our parents to do it for them. We all fall victim to this kind of marketing whether we like it or not. Whether it's games, movies, or politicians that we don't like. All press is good press, because even if you're talking about it in the negative, you're still talking about it. Even as GTA's original fanbase grows from impressionable, angsty kids into burnt-out millennials, Rockstar continues to draw hype and intrigue to the uber-violent brand they've spent over 2 decades cultivating. As Rockstar has grown, so too has the franchise. Wanton violence will always be a staple of any GTA game. It comes with the territory, but good quality writing, well-rounded characters, and traveled arcs make an arcadey fun franchise into something deeper and more meaningful. An interactive experience like no other. GTA 6 is trending pretty much every other week, and Rockstar doesn't even have to try. They can sit back, maybe not relax because they've got a game to develop, but certainly not worry about marketing too much. There are legions of fans ready and willing to do it all for them. People are dizzy with anticipation for the next GTA game. And it's giving Rockstar all the free-earned media they could ever want. Media publications will pump out any new info they can to get eyes to their sites. We here at Heist Central are entirely based around GTA and Rockstar, and they don't even pay us. We feed into the cycle ourselves, and trust us, the irony is not lost on us there. Rockstar reaps all the benefits, while fans generate hype for free. When an official release date is finally announced, Rockstar could simply change the color of their logo, and fans will lose their minds. Don't believe me? They did the same thing when they announced Red Dead Redemption 2. It's predicted that GTA 6 will be in our hands sometime in 2024, 2025-ish. We can't say for sure, but we know that it's getting closer and closer. They can't exactly hide the game after the leaks revealed so much about it. Plus, after they dropped support for the online mode for Red Dead Redemption 2 to put more developers and resources on the next GTA game, we all collectively gathered that something big was coming. It's all just a matter of time now. Until that day comes, though, the hype train will keep chugging along, picking up steam the closer we get. Hell, we may even see yet another moral panic about the game. In a twisted ode to time being a flat circle, another ridiculous outrage may erupt around the game and cause another flurry of intrigue. More and more people will talk about why this next GTA is bad and why you shouldn't play it. This will cause more and more to do the exact opposite. Because who among us wouldn't want to see what all the fuss is about? If you ask this writer, His prediction is that Rockstar's comments on trying to punch down with their jokes will cause a shit ton of internet incels to cry about how the new GTA is going to be woke. With transgender fury they-thems doing depraved things on every street corner in an effort to get you to not buy the game. They'll try to cancel Rockstar because they don't want to play as a girl that doesn't like getting catcalled or something, and the internet will erupt in more and more hype. Meanwhile, Rockstar will laugh all the way to the bank. But that's just, like, my opinion, man. Whatever happens, we will keep on chugling and churning out the GTA content to keep you satisfied. Like this. Some essential details that you must know before the reveal. Board the hype train with us and let it carry you all the way, baby. If this video doesn't quite tickle your fancy, then how about doing the liking and subscribing? YouTube will do all the rest for you. Don't panic. Just let it happen. Shh.